and welcome to our
Welcome back to the stream. That is totally not, obviously, a second attempt at doing this tonight.
Yes, welcome. This is our weekly show, twice a day, where we talk everything media, videos, movies, TV games, everything that we're going to talk about. And specifically today, we are going to talk about upcoming video games releases that we are looking forward to.
He's like, we have sound now.
Yay,
we
we
know. We made sure this time. Thank you, though.
Yes, so welcome everybody, and if you're new to the channel, hello. If you're
Everybody.
returning and you can hear us,
I know, Daniel. I know.
I'm glad you can hear us. We would love you to subscribe to our channel that has sound. Drop a like and leave a comment in the comment section.
Like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy what you see.
So today we are going to be talking about Mass Effect Legendary Edition. We're going to be talking about a potential remake of Knights of the Old Republic.
We don't need a table of contents. Let's just get right into it. Mass Effect Legendary Edition. What are we expecting, and what were you expecting, and what now are you expecting, given all that we've released?
So, after watching your video to the trailer reaction, you're the Mass Effect guru who loves it more than anything on the planet. I like it, don't get me wrong. It's one of my favorite games of all time.
Where's the chat?
The chat is there. I will pop it out so we can see
Makes
it.
it a little easier to see. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt.
I'm looking forward to playing it again. From what I got from your reaction to the trailer edition,
To the trailer edition.
to the Legendary Edition, to the trailer, you weren't super hyped. I could tell from the trailer. So tell us why you weren't super hyped.
Well, long story short,
Short story long.
yeah, I didn't think from what we were shown in that trailer that they'd really done anything. And I had also kind of a bias behind that, reinforcing that thought and making me think, oh no, they've just upscaled the resolution and they're going to slap a $80, $90 price tag on it and try just resell the same game, but it's in 4K. And that trailer did really make me feel like that's what we were getting. They had already warned us when they released it that it was mostly the first game that they were working on fixing up, updating, fixing bugs, all that sort of stuff. But there's a little history behind the Legendary Edition that's worth pointing out. People have been asking for this for over 5, maybe even 6 years. 6 years is over 5 years, but over 5 years, people have been asking for this. People have been begging for it. There's been rumors, and the rumors really started to gather speed and start to snowball around about 2019, early 2019. It was, on Twitter, there's been a hashtag Mass Effect Remaster for donkeys. So you could check it, and under that hashtag, if you're following that hashtag, it just people every day. It's like, please announce the remaster anytime now. Every November 7th and 7 day, people will be like, yep, you can announce it anytime now, BioWare. And people will be tagging EA, tagging BioWare, just making it want to happen. So my hypothesis, I'm not going to use the word theory. The word theory is thrown around too much. My hypothesis was, when this was actually announced on N7 Day of last year, that BioWare had decided, or EA will say, I don't think BioWare have any say on the actual publishing of these things. So EA were like, lots of people want this. But not only do lots of people want this, but lots of people are spreading rumors that this is actually happening. So maybe we should actually make this happen. And that's where I start to really believe that they were going to give us a lazy remaster.
A typical EA take on it.
Well, no, so EA are... The big problem people have with EA in recent years is that they're a cash grab organization.
Yeah.
They do the bare minimum, knowing full well people are going to chalk out dollars for the things they sell, so the quality control as a result is terrible. Like, all of the EA Sports games have systematically got worse and worse.
Andromeda, when they first released it.
And Andromeda, they were given a decent enough budget for a AAA title, but not as much as you would like. It was delayed several times and still came out incomplete. And even after it was incomplete, BioWare, rather than actually put more money into it and help the loyal Mass Effect fans have a finished product, they just pulled the plug, and they stopped patching it. They stopped supporting it. They still support the multiplayer to this day, which is okay, I guess. But they announced they cancelled and shelved all the DLC, so we don't get any DLC for Mass Effect Andromeda. So EA they're cheapskates. And so, like, if you think about it, if they're like, well, lots of people want a Mass Effect remaster, so what's the cheap way of dealing with that? Well, just upscale the resolutions and stick a $90
and send it.
And that's what I thought was going to happen, even after that initial trailer was released, because I didn't see any differences, especially in the second and third game. The only differences we noticed were in the first game, because we had some side-by-side comparisons of lighting effects. Like, you could see there was a big improvement in the lighting. You could also see lots of higher resolution backdrops. It's one thing the Mass Effect series kind of has. Like, even in Mass Effect 3, you look up at the sky, you'll see, like, if you zoom in, like, aim your focus your reticule, you'll see, like, really, really crap quality looking sky drops and backdrops. Mm-hmm. If you look at, like, characters in the background, it's not actual full-scale character models. It's just these little wavy, like, 2D models. And so those improvements were clearly there in the first game, and they said most of the work has been done on the first game. It's the oldest game. It's the one that hasn't aged as well. We're pretty much happy, this is a quote, with the way Mass Effect 2 and Mass Effect 3 play. So all they were going to do with that was upscale the textures and resolution. So that was my biggest fear after seeing that trailer, that I would actually be vindicated in what I believed.
So I didn't even know this was coming down the pipeline until you did your video. The only other game that I've seen like this that's had some treatment like this was Halo, where I thought Microsoft did a phenomenal job, especially on the first Halo game.
343.
Yeah. Or was it 343, not Bungie that did it?
Bungie.
No,
yeah. Bungie left after Halo Reach and went to make Destiny.
Right, okay. Oh, that's a terrible game.
No, it's not.
Oh, I don't like Destiny at all. So someone else did the Halo one then, but whoever it was,
I don't like Destiny either, but it's a very, very good game.
Yeah, whoever did the Halo one though did an exceptional job. So when
343, it was Microsoft's new subsidiary to moving forward to make games. Remember, Microsoft aren't a game developer.
No.
Microsoft, in context to the Xbox, are a publisher.
Okay.
Well, and they also developed the consoles as well.
So when you told me this was happening and you did your video, I started to look into it. And again, I completely agree with you. From the trailer, I got the same vibe. EA are going to make it look a bit prettier, slap a big price tag on it, and know full well that everybody's going to buy it.
Not even prettier, though. I don't think prettier is the word to describe it, because Halo Anniversary Edition is prettier. Mm-hmm. Stylistically, compared to, I actually think the original game still kind of looks better, but like the newer game looks more modern and more fresh and prettier. Yeah. That's not what I would say is what my fear was with the Legendary Edition. I just honestly thought they were just going to upscale the resolution so you could play it on a 4K monitor. That was it. Because if they did that without making it prettier, it wouldn't look pretty. It would look shit. It would
look horrible. But then I watched a YouTube video from, hey, Kashal, how's it going, buddy? We're talking video games. Let us know what your favorite video game is. Then I watched a YouTube from, I think it was IGN, where they did an in-depth.
Well, that comes later. That's something they posted recently.
Yeah, that's what I watched.
I'm still not done with what my problems were with the original. I mean, you could go watch the video. I'm sure we'll.
Go watch IGN's, because they do a very good breakdown of
no. I'm talking about my video.
Oh, go watch his video.
The footnotes. I'm not done explaining what my trepidation and my disappointment was. So
it cut deep.
Well, another thing that I was thinking to myself was, like, you could realistically, you can go to a bargain bin in any EB Games or GameStop and find like the trilogy in a package for like $12. I actually got mine for $8.
Well, you can get it off the internet on a download.
You can download it on Origin. No, if you go download it from Origin, remember EA are fucking cheapskates. You download it from Origin, you're paying full price still.
No, it's $25.99.
Maybe there was a package, I guess, but like you all the DLC you still have to pay for. Yeah. So what I pointed out in the video was, like, you could go find a bargain bin PC version of it, right? And this is a good point to make for console gamers, because console gamers can't do this. Which was what makes the Legendary Edition actually quite valuable.
Legendary.
Yeah, you could get the PC version for $8. install it, download the DLC for like I think there is a $25 DLC package that has all the DLC for all the games, and then go on to Nexus Mods and mod the shit out of it. Like my most recent playthrough on the PC was called A Lot of Textures. It's just all the textures were replaced with brand new updated textures. These are, mind you, made by people who aren't being paid to do this. This is just the modding community who do it for fun. Oh, Assassin's Creed, that's a good series.
Assassin's Creed, just as a byproduct here, I really wanted to get into. I know it's our other brother's one of his favorite series, but with there being so many different games now,
I would play a remaster of the original too.
Well, that's just it. I love playing video games that have story and lore. That's why I really, really like Mass Effect.
Well, the Assassin's Creed story is pretty.
But that's what I'm saying though. I can't jump in at game 7. To me, I'd have to go back to game 1.
So a remaster of the game would be pretty sweet. So, but anyway, back onto the Legendary Edition issue. So you could get the argument I was making in my video there is that you could get the same thing that
you expected them to
that
bring
EA at the time I was expecting that they were releasing for the same price or for cheaper. Sorry. By just buying the PC version, buying all the DLC, and modding it. So to me, that was a good comparison. It showed me that the extent that BioWare had put into remastering these games, not remaking them, was quite poor. Then though,
more details came out.
A couple months later, we got the IGN comparison trailer,
and to me, that's what sold me on it. Again, after your video you put out, I was like, oh. I don't think I think literally just after you did that, I was like, I'm gonna go have a look how expensive it's gonna be, and I think it's $80.99 or something like that.
Typical AAA title release, but this is all 3 games.
And I was thinking, really, $81 for a game that's just got a bit of lipstick on it and none of the DLC. So I was the same. I was like,
well, no, this game has all the DLC.
Yeah, no, but this is what I was thinking.
You didn't know it included.
No,
okay.
And then I watched IGN's video, and they went.
The original trailer does say that all the DLC was included.
Yeah, the IGN had a real deep dive into exactly what was changed, and I think it was the video was done in conjunction with people at BioWare talking to them and about what they.
There was
fixed.
quite a few people in the media that were given early access. They were able to watch missions being played and whatnot by game testers, so they were able to experience firsthand from the first game specifically what had been changed.
Well,
and the first game has got the most intense changes.
Well, yeah, especially the fact that they listened to the fans. Like, it's Mass Effect's got a legendary what's the word reputation that its Mako was borderline undrivable. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the time they spent on changing how that vehicle drove without also... have you guys played The Last Guardian? I've never heard of The Last Guardian.
I never played it either.
I'll have to have a look into that one. So the Mako was one of the biggest ones that they changed, but I remember him saying that they changed it enough for it to be now functional.
They worked on the physics a little bit to make it feel a little less bouncy and a little less airy and feel more like a tank.
Helium,
yeah. And there's also a boost ability now, which is something that was introduced in Mass Effect Andromeda with the Nomad.
Yeah. A couple of the boss battles,
like a speed boost, not the lifting boost,
or like a turbo boost, like Kit from that, right?
Yeah.
So when I watched that video, to see the amount of effort that they've done to try and bring the first game, which again I always thought was the weaker of the games, even though it's got some great storylines, up to the same level as 2 and 3. I think with this and all the DLC coming with it, it is definitely worth the price tag. And I am.
Oh, it's 100% worth it now because the goal was to make all 3 games feel like one seamless experience.
I feel like I have to get a 4K monitor now, though.
There is. I'm not. I have a 4K graphics card, but I've got my big 32-inch 1080 screen. That's good enough for me. The upscaled resolution of all the graphics and all the textures is going to be more than enough to satisfy me. But their goal was to make it feel like a seamless experience. It will have one launch screen. You won't seamlessly go from one game to another. Once you complete the first game, you'll then have to go to the second, but you won't have to carry your saves over. It'll automatically be there.
Yeah, so it'd be like, remember when we had when we got our first Super Nintendo and it came with the Super Mario not Smash Brothers, but Super Mario game.
All Stars.
All Stars, and it had all 3 games.
All 4.
Was there 4? What?
Yeah, so you got the Super Mario and the Lost Levels.
And then 1, 2, and 3.
No, Super Mario and the Lost
All
Levels
right.
and 2 and 3. Yeah.
So that's what it's going to be like. You're going to complete game 1, have to go back to the main menu, and start game 2.
Yeah. So they've basically streamlined the whole trilogy to feel like one single game, which explains why the first game had the most updates. They've made the heads-up display look a little bit more like the heads-up display from Mass Effect 3. I'm pretty sure they've made changes to the second game's heads-up display as well, but we haven't seen anything. I could be wrong about that.
I like the fact that because it always made me laugh that your time in the elevator felt like a real elevator, how long it would take you to get up that many floors, but they've now brought in a skip.
You can skip
the elevator.
Yeah,
But you miss out on the Mass Effect elevator music.
And the conversations between
Which
squad
is-
mates
which
too.
is
No, but you
legendary.
can choose to watch it if you want.
Yeah.
Now the option to skip is there. So that's great. I think that's fantastic. There's basically what they've done is make it so that it is by comparison. It was made on Xbox 360. It is now by comparison an Xbox One title. Now I feel like they should have probably ported all the assets over to a newer version of Unreal because we're on Unreal Engine 5 now. This was made on Unreal 3.
It's going to be available on PlayStation.
It's PlayStation, PC, and
so it's gonna be
I
cross-platform.
don't think there's any Switch support, unfortunately. So for Nintendo fans won't be able to play it. But the what was I saying?
The
interrupted.
Unreal Engine that it's
Yeah.
going to be on.
So they said we are doing it on Unreal 3 because that's what the game was made on, and it would take far too much work to move it over to Unreal 4. And again, another sign to me at the time that, oh god, this, like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Like, porting it over? I mean, you've got like independent game developers making fucking games like PUBG on the side and whatnot, and people making games like Valheim. And you're telling me your AAA fucking company BioWare, who's made some of the greatest games in the world, can't fucking get their assets transported over from Unreal 3 to 4? That to me was a bit of a red flag. Having said, having seen what I've seen, it still looks great.
And Unreal 4 is what Andromeda was made on.
No, Andromeda was made on Frostbite because
Oh, really?
EA made everybody has made all of their company, all their studios switch over to Frostbite because it's their engine. So no, Mass Effect games are no longer made on Unreal. If they'd have made Mass Effect Andromeda,
Legendary on
if they'd have made Mass Effect Andromeda on stop completing my sentences. If they'd have made Mass Effect Andromeda on Unreal 4, it would have not had anywhere close to the bugs that it had. That's one of the main reasons Andromeda was full of so many bugs, was because the people at BioWare had no idea how to work with this engine. They'd been working with Unreal for years. This was what they were familiar with, and so that's probably where most of the delays came in, because they ended up outsourcing animations to like third-party animation companies. So they didn't even work on all the facial animations that you remember, the weird
ones.
quirky facial animations. That was because they went to a third-party organization and said, "Here, look, we need this many facial animations. Make us some." And they'd have been like, no context whatsoever. Like, okay, these
Animate a face.
These are the animations. There you go. Enjoy. And
So we're probably very lucky then that EA didn't make BioWare make the Legendary editions on Frostbite.
that would have been impossible.
Right, it'd been a completely new game.
Yeah, there would have been a remake.
Yeah, which is, I'm glad they didn't do that.
Yeah, no, that was never the intention for this game, and it's not what any people and purist Mass Effect fans probably don't want a remake.
No.
I'm happy to see a version of the game that looks good, looks better by today's standards. I wasn't expecting to see Mass Effect 3 all of a sudden looking like Destiny, or looking like Red Dead, or looking as good as something that was released just this year. I just wanted to see the same game touched up so that it feels more like a modern game, and that's what I think we're going to get.
I also like the fact that they're bringing 1 to be more resemble 3, because 3 is the best game by gameplay.
2 and
3, yeah. So I think
the gameplay hasn't changed that much, but they've touched up a little bit. They've changed up, for instance, I think the reticule now doesn't have as much bloom, and it feels a little bit more in line with Mass Effect 3. It's a little bit more focused. It's not that big round circle that we had.
Well,
You're going to have also, I think there's a sprint mode now, not just when you're in danger. There's all sorts of interesting little tweaks here that you wouldn't have expected, but should ultimately add to a better gameplay experience.
Well, I'm hoping, and I probably think if BioWare's had a hand in it, that they're going to do a really good job of this. Which then now leads me on to our second topic, another BioWare game that's getting some love and is having a full remake, I believe.
Yeah, so if we're getting the remaster with Mass Effect, well, we're getting the remake treatment when it comes to Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. And funnily enough, it's been entrusted, the development of the game has been entrusted to a new studio. And I understand why. If you actually look into the news about this, the people who are being entrusted to remake Knights of the Old Republic are the people who have essentially been entrusted to support it for the last few years, because they are the ones who have been up-resing it so that it can be supported in a 16:9 format. They've been working on both games, I believe. They've been making sure that it's 4K ready, and this is the original build of the game. So let me just pull up. The company's called Aspire. Knights of the Old Republic remake. The company's called Aspire, and they will be essentially making a brand spanking new game. Now, we don't have a lot of details, because one of the first things I was wondering about a remake like this is, do they have to bring back the voice cast? Because now with Resident Evil 2, they didn't bring back the voice cast. They just took all of the original lines and just remastered the audio and inserted them into the new game.
So, my thoughts on that are, if it's a remake and it's shot for shot, then they can use the original voices. But I believe if they're going to make additions to the game and hopefully not change the storyline too much, but put different aspects in.
Aspire, were involved in a mobile port of the game. They made the mobile version of it.
Yeah, have you ever played it on your cell phone?
No.
It's almost as good as it was when it first came out. I think if they're doing this as a remake and they're going to change stuff, like we can all say that Knights of the Old Republic from BioWare was basically a precursor to Mass Effect. It was like a trial run, and having played it again now on Steam,
I know what you're saying, but I would say that Mass Effect
is a reason.
Exists because KOTOR was so good. I wouldn't make KOTOR the less significant title there.
But KOTOR, I played it again on Steam.
It's not aged well,
and it's not the fact that it's not aged.
It's not aged well at all. I've been playing the second one on my Twitch stream. Yeah. And the turn-based combat system is just something that is no longer used. It's not. We don't. People want, with the technology we have for video games today, people want real-time combat experiences. They don't want turn-based.
No.
And so, like, you sit there and you press lightsaber attack, and you guy's standing there, and then he gets hit,
and then he goes,
and then he does his lightsaber attack. Like that. That is where it's aged.
And
the exploration is pretty good, but then again, also the camera control of the exploration is bad. There's no up down. You can only rotate.
Yeah.
So there's something immediately you would get in a remake that changes the game entirely, because now you've got rendered skies and you can like use the camera to look in all sorts.
And you've got to make cutscenes now as well.
And well, there is cutscenes in.
No, I mean interactive cutscenes. So do you know when you talk to Carlo Nord for the first time and he does his 1, 2? That is still very turn-based. I mean, more like in the Mass Effect style, where you can just quickly flick. What are you on about?
It's just no.
You don't think that needs to be changed?
It's just two dynamic cameras. I think that's what you're trying to say is you want more cinematic cutscenes.
Yes,
yeah.
Which you can do these days.
Well, you've been able to do it since like Mass Effect 2.
Yeah.
Because Mass Effect 1 doesn't have any cinematic cutscenes. And that's actually, speaking of the remaster of Mass Effect, I was wondering if they were going to have the cinematic camera, because that wasn't introduced until Mass Effect 2. Mm-hmm. So I would be, if I'm playing it and that happens and we've got the same old conversations, and instead of just like undynamic over the shoulder stuff, it's actually moving cameras, I'm gonna be so excited if I see that.
I think
that's what we need in KOTOR.
Definitely.
Yeah. But we also need new combat system. Realistically, a game that Aspire is making sounds more like the Resident Evil 2 approach. They're basically making a brand new game, but they're using the story of KOTOR.
Yeah. As long as the story, they don't change it.
The story is like I say. The story can't be changed. If it gets changed, then they'll have to bring back the voice cast or bring in new voice cast.
I personally think they'll bring in new voice cast. I don't think they'll use the same lines from the original game, especially if they want to make it more flowing. And
well, they'd need to get a voice actor for Revan.
But then you get a voice actor for everybody.
No. But I mean, Revan had no voice actor in the game originally. You just picked what you wanted to say, and
yeah.
So they need to cast a voice actor. I don't think they need to recast. You bring in Jennifer Hale. You bring everybody. You bring all the.
Oh no, you could bring back the original cast, but
no, but I don't think you'd need to.
If they want a bit of star power, they could bring in a voice actor like Sam Witwer, who does.
I don't think
Star Wars voices.
I think it's the least of the priorities to bring back new cast. They've got all of the dialogue there. It's all there, and it's very intensive, very comprehensive. You can sit having a conversation with Jalid for like 20 minutes, unlocking things to say. There is no need to waste time or assets making any more dialogue options, except to bring in an actual voice actor for Revan, because it would be kind of silly to have a brand new game with modern 2021, 2022, whenever this is going to get released, but modern graphics, and the main character doesn't have a voice. I understand why at the time, because it would have been just so difficult to make all of those differing, dark side choices, light side, neutral, to actually get a voice actor to make that happen in a game from back in 2003.
To emote whether he's saying something good.
That would have been very difficult, but now they can do that.
Yeah. The fight system definitely has to be upgraded, and again, if they're willing to, I don't know whether they're willing to work with them or whether they're consulting with them, but the fight system in Mass Effect is perfect.
Make the same version as Mass Effect, but implement a sort of like spiritual successor to the turn-based elements with lightsaber combat, because you couldn't have like a Dark Souls type of approach with the melee combat and still have two team members who are also shooters. That wouldn't work.
Yeah,
it'd be very, very difficult so I'm not sure if you played Dark Souls before. It's one of the most difficult games in the world. There are millions of broken keyboards and controllers in the world because Dark Souls exists.
Right.
And if they were to try that approach with the melee combat, then it would make having teammates pretty much useless. Yeah. So you'd need to utilize a more Mass Effect approach, where it's very squad based and
fluid. Yeah,
implementing the melee would be really hard though to try to figure out how that would work. That's why I'm interested. I wouldn't want to work for Aspire, to be honest. To take this beloved series and be entrusted with the task of actually rebuilding the game from the ground up is quite risky,
especially when 80% of the combat is melee, because you're a Jedi whipping out a lightsaber. I do have to admit, there's not many Star Wars games I can remember playing where I've liked how the lightsaber combat's been done.
The best game, unanimously from fans, is the Jedi Outcast, Jedi Knight 2.
And I've not played that yet.
And I've
that's with Carl Kestis.
No. Carl Kestis is Jedi Fallen Order, which is like a spiritual successor to that, a spiritual sequel. Okay. No, Carl Katan, I think his name is.
Right. Because the lightsaber
You've
combat...
got Carl Kestis and Kyle Katan.
Because the lightsaber combat in Battlefront isn't really the greatest. It's still button smashing.
However, that built on the Frostbite engine that way makes you realize that you can have melee in a predominantly shooter-based environment.
Yeah.
So you could build upon that. Especially that's an EA asset, don't forget. So it's very likely Aspire would probably be making this game on Frostbite too. So all you would do is you take the combat mechanics from Battlefront and just then work specifically on improving the melee.
Yeah.
Because you'd need vibroblade and lightsaber combat. Now, would they want to change to make it fit more in line with the Disney era canon and actually change it from not vibroblades but Beskar swords?
Well, especially considering most of the uniforms are Mandalorian inspired, then yeah, that would.
Well, no, the Mandalorian uniforms are Mandalorian.
Yeah, but that's where those vibram swords come from, innit?
No, anyone can use vibroblade swords.
Yeah, but I thought they came from the Mandalorians. That's where you go.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of. There's no other armor that can, or there's no other metal that we know of in the Star Wars universe that can deflect a lightsaber.
Well, vibroblades could until
Actually,
Disney took over and
no.
the Mandalorian showed that Beskar. Well, not just in the Mandalorian, but Clone Wars showed that Beskar is the only one that can.
Also, what are those red guards wearing in Last Jedi? Because they can deflect lightsabers as well.
No, they just have what's it called? They had those little like energy things on their gauntlets.
Or did they have energy on their gauntlets?
Yeah.
Then yeah, I
No,
think
like she stabs him through the eye. Like he can't stop a
he
lightsaber.
stabs him through the.
Oh, it is him. Yeah.
Then I think you would.
You would make it. You would Disneyfy it a little bit.
I can't.
And
see,
I know that's a terrible thing for Star Wars fans to think of right now, but I believe that Disney would expect for EA to make the Knights of the Old Republic remake more in line with the current canon.
That brings up an interesting question: is Knights of the Old Republic a Disney IP?
Intellectual property. It's Star Wars.
So this game must have been remade then in consultation with Disney.
Well, I don't know how much that is true. I don't think the people involved in making the films, Disney may be allocating budget, but like EA are the publisher.
Yeah,
still.
but none of the modern
EA have the rights to Star Wars games, but by permission of Disney.
And that's what I'm saying.
Because LucasArts doesn't exist anymore.
No, you think of all the new Star Wars IPs we got coming out. They're all being very, I won't say micromanaged.
Stop calling them Star Wars IPs. IP is an intellectual property. Star Wars is an IP.
Yeah. Oh, then like Kenobi, the Bad Batch, they're all being kind of now Marvelized.
Oh no, okay, sorry. I apologize for correcting you there. You mean the shows? Okay.
Yeah, the shows like Obi-Wan Kenobi and all.
Yeah.
So they're all being, I want to say, Kevin Feige. There's hopefully a plan coming out. We're going to release these shows, and they're going to be kind of controlled by somebody. And it's looking kind of like it's Dave Filoni who's going to be that kind of guy. So I'm thinking that if they're going to do a full remake, not a remaster, not make it look prettier, but a full remade game.
You couldn't make the original game just look prettier. It wouldn't.
It would be lipstick on a pig.
Yeah, it would look weird because the character models are not good enough to. The uncanny valley would be frightening because the character models and the animations are so very 2003.
Yeah.
And so like if you put really realistic textures on those things, it would be kind of weird. You need to rebuild the game from the ground up because in order to make it look more realistic and not tickle that uncanny valley bone, you've got to implement new animations, new lighting, and whatnot.
Then I think at the very least, Aspire are probably in consultation with the Star Wars department at Disney. I don't see this being made without even consulting Disney and what Disney actually want from their Star Wars IP.
I think Disney will have like a list of. To me, no. It was Disney or like EA and Disney come together and we're like, so we want to make some money. Yeah, well, KOTOR is a thing. Yeah, people want a remake of that, right? Yeah, okay. Well, green light. And then EA will be like, here's the money, Aspire. Go make a fucking remake. That to me is.
I think as we get more details,
you're talking about the gaming industry like it's the movie industry.
No,
Disney don't care. I don't think about.
Not at the moment.
They might have a list of things like they say, look, we want this to be canon, so you got to make sure you use these names for things, and you've got to make sure that there's no like legend stuff, like because I'm pretty sure a lot of the KOTOR canon is now Legends canon.
Yeah. It's
not actual canon.
Well, I think as more details come out about this game, we'll probably get a lot more information.
We know nothing. This is just our speculation based off of the rumors and announcements that we've had to this point.
All right, let's go on to our last gaming topic then that we're talking about.
Which is funny because it's in its sense also a remake.
Yeah.
It's a remaster.
This, honestly, for me, is the
We don't play new games here at TRS Media. No, thank you.
We are old and decrepit.
We are a simple channel for simple people.
So to set the background here, Michael first played World of Warcraft back in 2005. While I was still in the military and had no idea what World of Warcraft was.
You didn't even know what Warcraft was.
Yeah. I played Warcraft 3 probably back in like late 2008. Didn't really enjoy it. Played it for a bit. Didn't learn the lore, and then never thought two shits about it.
Such a good fucking game.
Yeah.
I don't know how anyone can
I should
play
probably
that.
go back and play Warcraft 3.
Play the remaster.
Yeah. But then Classic was brought out, and everybody made a big deal about it. A couple of my friends were really into it. Michael was into it. Oh no, Michael wasn't into it.
What? Into what?
When Classic came out.
Yeah, I was. I couldn't wait for it to come out.
Yeah, but you only played it for a little bit, though, didn't you?
Well, no, because you told me to go play with Kevin. And I was like, oh, good, I'll have a playing buddy. I went and played with him, and he fucking just left me for dead. And so I was like, well, this is boring. And then I just kind of was like, gave up.
So, obviously, COVID-19 kicks in, and we all get locked down. And I'm like, well, what the fuck am I going to do with myself? So I talked to my buddy Kevin, and I've seen him play this World of Warcraft. I was like, why is it called Classic? And he tries to explain it. So I was like, fuck it, I'll give it a go. So I told Michael I'm going to go start playing World of Warcraft, which he thought was quite funny. And I started playing it, and I absolutely loved the game.
And it groomed you into being the amazing raid leader that you are now.
And the funny thing was, I joined again, like Michael just said, he joined and played with my friend Kevin. I joined to play with my friend Kevin, and he fucking ditched me. To the point where I was a human, and he teleported me to Darnassus with no way of getting back to the Eastern Kingdoms. So when he first joined up to on the same server, he goes, where are you? I told him where I am. He's like, what the fuck are you doing all the way over there? Like, I don't fucking know. So I paid to have me and Michael started another characters from scratch on a PvE server, 2 Night Elves, and we played all the way up from 0 to 60. I then also paid to have my other character transferred over, got them to 60. We started a guild, Team Red Shirt, and I became the raid leader. So for somebody who never played it before, I kind of embraced it. Now, over the last month or so, I've taken a step back from that because I've been building my race car. But it had been officially announced that the first expansion to Classic is coming as a Classic expansion, the Burning Crusade. Which is funny because when I talked to Michael about when this first came out in vanilla, the game was out for, 2.5 years before they even thought about an expansion. And we've barely had it out 2 years now. It's only been out 18 months. And they're already running the...
Came out August in 2019.
Yeah, so August of this year will be 2 years. So it's been out 18 months. So we got the announcement. They're running the beta now. We don't have an exact date when it's coming. But I'm looking forward to the Burning Crusade app because, again, it's not Classic for me. It's vanilla Burning Crusade. I've never played the game before in the Burning Crusade.
Well, but it's funny, though, because it's kind of like it has more in common with the Mass Effect Legendary Edition than it does the KOTOR game that we're discussing. Because what it is essentially, it's the game as they would have made it had they had the tools at their disposal now. Because as we know from Classic... They weren't. It wasn't like they were able to do what the illegal private servers were doing, where they just run the game, built as it was, based off of the logs that they could guess and piece together. They have had to painstakingly go through all of their backups and look at all of their data logs to see if they can replicate the game as it was when it was launched in the modern version of the engine. That's why you're able to have things like all of the moving foliage and better particle effects, better water effects and whatnot, better draw distance, all that kind of stuff. So essentially what we're going to get when we play Burning Crusade is a nicer, prettier looking version of the original Burning Crusade.
I don't know anything about the Burning Crusade. I've tried to stay away from any spoilers for any of the expansions so that when I take my first steps through the Dark Portal, it's all brand new to me. Just like this first game was.
Except we did go through the Dark Portal in retail for a little bit.
Yeah, well, I think we didn't do any missions. I think we just went through and killed what was on the other side. Yeah. So I kind of know what's on the other side.
Or
but
got killed by what was on the other side.
I don't know what actually is there. And I understand that you can port your character over to Burning Crusade Classic
for
free. but then it is officially off a classic server. You can't go back and play classic.
No, you can. So you mix that up. So what you can do is you can choose to just start playing your character into Burning Crusade. At which point the character is now a Burning Crusade character.
Yeah. Or you
if
can
you
pay
want,
to copy.
or you can pay to have a backup version of it made so that you can continue to play that character on classic and in Burning Crusade.
And I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take all my characters over and just probably copy either John or Maxiel and keep them on classic.
We'll see. It's cheaper to just go back and play the game once I get an itch, because I remember I've been playing vanilla on private servers since like 2011, since Cataclysm came out, and so every now and then I get that World of Warcraft itch to go back and play classic. So as soon as I get that World of Warcraft itch again, I will go and start a character from fresh and get him to level 60 very quickly.
Yeah.
So I'm not too worried about backing him up.
Yeah, I'm probably.
I didn't get to do any Naxxramas again, so like I just feel like I'm destined to.
No, but that was your choice, though.
No, it wasn't.
You choose not to play.
Okay, so it's my choice in the same way that it's my choice to go off and find a new career path. Like it just so happened that I started doing Twitch streaming, got interested in other games, and got bored of doing the same fucking shit over and over again.
Say,
pretty much like what happened the first time I played WoW Classic.
You're a healer. There's always a spot for you on the Naxxramas raid.
Yeah, well, either way, I'm only going back to play Burning Crusade because of nostalgia. Because it'd be exciting to play through level 60 to 70 and do all of the end game.
And get our original 2 night elves
and go play as Blood Elves and go play as Draenei and whatnot and do all of the things that'll bring me back to the good old year of 2007 and then I'll get bored of that.
Well, the good thing is from just general chat on Discord with the guild, I think I believe it drops down to what 25-man raids. We're gonna
10-man.
A 10-man just like big dungeons though.
No. Karazhan is a full-on raid.
Oh, so it's like ZG, which was a 20-man raid.
It was like 12 bosses in Karazhan, something like that. Look, crazy events.
But that's the one where you need to get a warlock with a flying mount and then get summoned up there. Because Karazhan's you need a flying mount to get there.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm hoping that our guild is still alive.
Well, I mean, it will still be alive. Whether we have to rebuild it, you and me will always be there.
Yeah. So,
and our guild is called Team Richard, by the way.
Yeah. And I think a lot of the OGs are still going to be there from chatting to him on Discord.
Where's Gatorgar been?
Gator's the same as us. He got a little bored with it. He's waiting for TBC. Emberson's the same. And Bracken's come back and revitalized for the back end of Classic.
Yeah.
Dre's obviously going to be there. So I reckon we'll have a good 25-man team. But unfortunately, they haven't released a date yet.
Well, because they probably don't know. It's a tentative release, right? And it's going to be one of those things where, like, it's not like Mass Effect Legendary Edition where they need to hype it up because it's an online game, so people are always playing.
Yeah, the
so
moment
one
the
day
doors
they'll just
open.
Yeah, one day they'll just be like, okay, Burning Crusade is going to be out on Friday, so yeah, get ready.
That's kind of what they did with Naxxramas, whereas. For AQ, they actually built it up a lot because you had to do the stupid war effort to get all those bits to open the gates.
Yeah.
Whereas Naxxramas, they were like, it's coming out in 2 weeks.
Well, and that pushes on to a little bit of an outro that I'm going to use. I'm going to use the show as a shameless plug and a way of connecting us to the end here. I do have a Twitch channel, and I currently play a lot of single-player games on there. I also play multiplayer. I play Halo multiplayer. I play Warzone on Call of Duty and whatnot. But there is going
Don't forget Pokemon Yellow.
Well, Pokemon Yellow I'll be playing tonight. There's going to be a stream of Burning Crusade's single player, as it were, the actual like leveling process from level 60 to level 70 with me and Matthew, and it's going to be
mentoring a noob.
Yeah, it's going to be done in such a way where it's like a noob learns to play from a seasoned vet.
And I may even start a Twitch channel for this channel and Twitch on that. I ain't decided yet.
You can check down in the comment section, but not the comment section, the description. Sorry for my Twitch link. It's also in the banner on the channel. We have a lot of fun over there. I've got quite a loyal, teeny little following, and we're starting to build quite the community. And might as well do another shameless plug, seeing as we talked about Mass Effect. I will on Friday the 14th be doing a 8-hour stream over on that channel.
Hardcore.
And then a subsequent Mass Effect Legendary Edition marathon. It's going to be. I've been marketing it as a Mass Effect community night because most of my followers on Twitch are Mass Effect fans, just like myself.
And that's why you should buy the Mass Effect emblems that were
the badges for my subs.
The subs give you some money to buy some badges.
Yeah, my subscribers donated to be able to make unique badges for the channel, and we don't know what we're gonna do yet. But I came across on Etsy like Mass Effect themed subscriber badges. And
I would also like to know what games our viewers would like to see remade, because I've got a couple I'd like to see remade.
Yeah, you can let us know in the comment section.
I would love to see a remake, not a remaster, because again, same as the KOTOR problem. I'd love to see a remake of GoldenEye.
Well, there was a remake of GoldenEye.
It wasn't very good though.
So you just said you want a remake.
No, I want a good remake.
Well, but I want like fucking I want a complete rebuild of Mass Effect. We all want things.
I was saying to you earlier.
So anyway,
I'm disappointed
it's not that bad.
Yeah?
The biggest problem with it was they put Daniel Craig's face on him, but it's a fairly competent remake.
The first one's still more fun though.
There is actually an independently remastered version of the original Nintendo 64 game in the works.
Really?
Yeah, but
would you have to play it on a 64 though?
No, you'd play it on an emulator.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And any games you'd want to see remade?
Dead Space would be a good one. And I'm pretty sure, because it's an EA title as well, I'm pretty sure it's next after Mass Effect. And
I think I've ever played Dead Space.
It's pretty sweet. It's a survival horror space sci-fi game. And it's cool because your guy isn't a soldier or anything. He's like an engineer, and your gun is like cutting tools and stuff and lasers.
Grand Theft Auto 3.
I know.
Because the story of that's awesome.
I feel just make a new GTA, which they are.
I do have to admit, I'm looking forward to GTA 6, but I'm also disappointed that I don't get to continue with the characters that we grew to love.
Yeah.
I'd love to see what Trevor's doing these days.
I wouldn't mind seeing a remaster of Morrowind and Oblivion. However,
Oblivion definitely.
They just let the modding community go nuts with their own games. That's why That's why Skyrim is like on its.
I was gonna say, isn't Skyrim a sequel to Oblivion?
Yeah, it's the Elder Scrolls 5. It's just, but they keep making new versions and new remade versions and new mod special versions and whatnot, and people just keep modding it and modding it and modding it. It's a game that refuses to die, and Bethesda refuses to let it die. Bethesda have announced an Elder Scrolls 6, but no one knows when the hell that's gonna come.
Let us know in the comments what games you want to see remastered.
I'd like to see a remastered version of Super Mario 3. Even though the Mario All-Stars version is technically a remastered version of it.
Would you want it to keep like a cat, or would you like it to go like full-on hardcore 3D rendered graphics, like they did with Final Fantasy VII?
Very interestingly enough, I would see that if they actually took the 2D maps and then thought three-dimensionally and just made three-dimensional versions of those maps. But no, what I would want is I'd want a sideways platformer with 3D assets. So you would just make the exact same game, but instead of 2D sprites, it's 3D sprites. You ever play Oddworld?
No.
That's a 3D platformer.
Star Fox.
You ever play Rayman?
Yes.
That's a 3D platformer. That's what you would do. Is you'd make the Super Mario 3 platform game, but with 3D sprites.
What about Star Fox? A new version of that.
I think there is a remaster of that.
Because I like that game.
The original Star Fox?
Yeah.
Star Wing, as we call it.
Yeah, in England.
On PAL, yeah.
So,
yeah, let us know in the comment section below if there's any video games that you want to have remastered. Also, tell us if you agree with us about the hype for these 3 particular games. And destroy my ears at the same time, why don't you, Matthew?
Yes.
Until next time, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I've been Michael. Peace.
I've been Matt. Good night.